right, welcome to another episode of the Logic Cast. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas, all those things. Happy Kwanzaa, whatever other holidays there are. This is the first episode of the year of 2025. My name is Blanca Kong, joined by Gunnar Eos, Huddle Wolf, and Mr. Esoteric. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
So, today's topic is going to be the first topic of the year. We are going to talk about 2024, all the things that happen, good and bad, mostly bad, but good and bad, and as well as the things we're looking forward to in 2025. So, with that being said, I'm going to pass it to Esoteric, and he's going to kick us off. And I have a list of things to go through. So if you don't have anything to say or whatever, I have a bunch of things that we can throw into the fire. So, Mr. Esoteric, after you, my friend.
All right. Well, first and foremost, guys, Happy New Year. It's been quite the uphill battle in 2024. We had a couple of decent games. We had a couple of really bad ones. I think I'm going to focus on the games that I was interested in, that I've played, games that I didn't get to play but am interested in playing this year. And I guess we'll just go around the room, get everybody else's idea as to what they felt about the games that they enjoyed this year, and then move forward to like other segments of the conversation. So, I'm looking at this list here for video games of 2024, and there were quite a few. Some that I've enjoyed thoroughly, some that I haven't gotten to play but am interested in, and some that I figured wouldn't be my cup of tea or just, sucked, right? So here we have, Gunna isn't going to like this, but you have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which was like a title that a lot of people, which was a title that a lot of people enjoyed. I haven't played it, but I picked it up. You know, Gunner isn't too thrilled about the new style of Final Fantasy combat and whatnot, which I can understand because Final Fantasy got its glory from the whole turn-based RPG, which I absolutely love as well. But they seem to have deviated from that, going to like combat similar to Kingdom Hearts, where it's just pure action-based. So I can understand the disdain for it. Have that game, but haven't played it. I just recently got this game as a gift. Shout out to my coworkers. Dragon's Dogma 2. I heard that was a really good game. Just nothing but high praises with that. Haven't played it, but absolutely plan to. Another big title that was really good, have but didn't play, was Helldivers 2. I know you guys had like a thrill playing that for a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, or was that Remnant 2?
That was Remnant.
It was Remnant 2 that you guys, okay, my bad for that. Did you guys get to play it by any chance,
No,
or no?
No,
I,
not
I, I
yet.
don't own it. Yeah.
I have it, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay, so I have it as well. So, when you guys are ready to crack it open this year, I'm ready with you guys. Um, Grand Blue Fantasy, don't know much about that. Astrobot. Shout outs to Astrobot. I am really excited that it won the VGA Awards. Definitely, as Kong stated, definitely the dark horse of that particular lineup. But I'm really excited that it won. Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, want to get that, but haven't played that as of yet. Actually, I have it, but I haven't played it. Another big title, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Now, this is a game that I was excited for. I have it. I just haven't played it. I know that I'm going to enjoy it thoroughly. I just haven't gotten around to it as of yet. The missus currently has my cartridge, and she's playing it. She actually beat it like 3 times already from start to finish. So it just goes to show how exciting that game is. Did watch a little bit of gameplay on her end, trying not to spoil myself, but it's really good for those of you who are interested. Definitely worth the money. Harry Potter Quidditch Cup or whatever. Skip. Hogwarts Legacy was a vibe, but this, nah. Then you have Tekken 8, which is a phenomenal fighting game. Have it, play it from time to time. Very enjoyable. You also have Tales of Kenzera Zal, which I streamed. Also a good one. Stellar Blade as well. Suicide Squad. I stayed away from it. Not my cup of tea. I've heard a lot of not so great things about it. It didn't look appealing to me at all. Let's see here. Moving along, we have a couple of more. Senua Saga's Hellblade 2. I did play the first one. I would like to play the second one. I don't know what people think about it as of right now, but I plan to just play it and see what it's about. We also had another game that I was really looking forward to. I heard it plays a lot like the Souls games, but it's a little more charming. Another Crab's Treasure. That game I really want to play. It looks good. The gameplay, from what I saw, looks pretty solid. Definitely plan to play that. And we have a few others. Rise of the Ronin, Unicorn Overlord, and like the list just goes on and on and on from what I see here. But those were the ones that I mentioned that I'm interested in playing, that I've already played, and just a couple that like I kind of took a peek at, but wasn't too thrilled about. So for now, I'm going to pass it on to you guys. Whoever wants to take a go at it, like what games were you guys interested in for this year? What piqued your interest? What didn't pique your interest? What was absolute trash that you did pick up, and so on and so forth.
Well, I'll quickly go because it's going to be a short list. I picked up a few games this year. I picked up Dragon's Dogma 2. Haven't played it yet, but I know it's good. I played Alone in the Dark, the remake. I played and finished that. It was okay, but it wasn't amazing. The studio closed down, so we're probably not going to get another one.
That sucks.
My game of the year was probably Silent Hill 2 remake. That game was fantastic.
Shit, I forgot about that one.
Okay. I played Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade was pretty good. Not amazing, but it was solid. It was a good game. I think that's kind of it. Like I didn't buy a lot of new stuff this year. It was mostly just older games that I've been picking up. So that's it for me though.
Okay. I'll go. My list is not much bigger, but it's something. So, as far as new stuff goes, I recently got Silent Hill 2 on a holiday sale. So far, I'm really enjoying that. So that's a game that I say would have been worth a $70 purchase. I like that I paid $50 for it, but it is one of those games that is worth it. Metaphor ReFantazio was a Atlas-inspired RPG, kind of a hodgepodge of Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. Very interesting game mechanics, very interesting story. Unlike Final Fantasy VII, which has trouble selling copies, anybody gives a shit about that game. It won Best RPG, and I think it definitely deserved that title because it is a far better RPG than 7 even wishes it could be. And still kind of reinforces that turn taking is not dead, despite what IGN and video game journalists want to tell you. It can be done well and it can be done right. And Metaphor proves that it can be done right. And it's a new IP, which I'm always grateful for. As much as I love Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, it's nice to have a new IP because that allows you to make new characters and new storylines. So curious to see where that game goes. I don't think they're going to leave it at one. I imagine a sequel or a game in that world, but we'll see. And honestly, like the big standout, really, kind of towards the end of the year, for me, was Path of Exile 2. That recently came out in early access. It's supposed to launch sometime January, February. But right now it came out in December. $30 early access on PC and consoles, like a worldwide release, which I really appreciate that. So I'm playing it on PlayStation 5. It has crossplay. Not that you need to play with people, but I think crossplay is the future, and that's how you keep games alive. So any games with crossplay day one, it's good. I like where that's going because the community can thrive regardless of what it is. But anyway, game is great. It blows Diablo out the water. It's very complex. There's a lot of systems. There's a lot of meat to get into that game, and out of all the games in 2024, that game by far has been worth the money. I have gotten more video game and enjoyment out of a $30 investment that I have from some $70 games.
Mm,
And that says a lot because not games are expensive. It's not cheap playing
that's
video
true.
games nowadays. So yeah, a $30. It has its problems. It's early access. There's issues. They're constantly updating and patching the game, so it's not perfect. And I understand that when I went in, so I'm not complaining about that. But what I've been given right now is far superior in terms of raw enjoyability and gameplay than some full price $70 games. So that's really the standout. I mean, if some more come to me, I'll definitely bring it out. But me, gaming's in a weird spot for me. I tend to go back in time, so I've been playing like my 3DS. So not exactly new games. So I'm trying to keep it to just newer titles or titles that came out this year. So yeah, that's it for me so far. Like I said, if I come up with anything else, I'll chime in with it.
No, I hear you, man. I definitely do hear you. Finding those gems that they don't cost as much as a AAA title, but they give you the level of content on par with what a AAA title should give you is amazing. I've heard nothing but good things about Path of Exile. I've never played the first one, but given my wide scope of like games that I play, a lot of people said that I would absolutely enjoy it. So,
Yeah. Oh, and also not Nine Souls. That's another great
oh
game.
yes, yes,
Another indie
yes.
game. Amazing Metroidvania. Great art style. Great combat. Great story, at least to me. And that's a $30 indie game. So, like, if you like Metroidvanias, um, definitely look into Nine Souls. Like, it is aesthetically pleasing. The sound design is great. Combat is amazing. I That's another one. Nine Souls. Okay, that's it from me now.
Cool, cool. And now passing it on to you, Wolf. Like, what games did you enjoy this year? What games are you interested in? And what games did you just shy away from because it wasn't your cup of tea?
I think all of them I shied away from. I don't think there was anything other than the one that I didn't get to play was the RPG one that I'm gonna mention, but
Mhm.
all the other ones I didn't really indulge myself into. To be honest, like I bought um Black Ops 6, and that's fine. It's an okay game to pick up and play for a few hours, and that's about it. But I don't think I picked up anything this year, anything new. We played Remnant 2. I think that was a very good game, but I don't. Remnant 2 didn't come out this year. Came out last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and much like Gunner, I've been playing older stuff. Like we have this emulator little handheld thing, and I'm having fun with Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance stuff. Like I'm content. I think maybe mindset is changing, or it's just proof that the gaming industry is just full of a lot of AAA garbage that's just not worth the money or the time.
Mhm.
It sounded a little negative, but hey,
I mean, you're not entirely wrong. That's a large portion of why I haven't bought a lot of brand new games, and it wasn't until Kong's recommendation and reading other trusted news sources and watching a little bit of esoteric stream that I decided to get Silent Hill 2 because I figured that was just going to be another bare bones, very just like on the surface you remember they're gonna hand out member berries, and it's just gonna be kind of like Seven was. I was gonna be very disappointed, but no, that's shaping up to be like I'm really enjoying my time with that game. But yeah, no, there's been a lot of bad ones. 2024. We have like the ones probably everybody's watched this podcast knows about. You've got your Concords, you've got your Star Wars Outlaws, you've got your various other games. There's a lot. There's a lot more. Um, a lot of those that have been $70, triple, quadruple in some cases, flops. So I don't think it's abnormal to just look at the gaming industry and go, you know what? I'm gonna look at this indie game, or I'm gonna hold on to my money, or I'm gonna go back in time and like you're doing, Wolf, playing an emulator which has games from PlayStation 1 and down. Maybe what does it have to do with nostalgia? Maybe a little bit, but it's also some very solid titles, um, from previous generations. And if the current gaming landscape is not giving you what you want, yeah, go back in time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. It's just I don't know. I just can't find anything. I mean, I played some gotcha games if that counts, but that's about it. That's it for me. Nothing major on
Yeah,
console.
depending on who you ask, that those are
Yeah.
games. Some will say no. Some will say it is my only game. So, depending on who
Mhm.
you ask.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely.
True.
All right,
True.
I'm done.
What were you gonna say, Kong?
now I was just going to introduce some other topics that occurred during this year. So you guys talked about the gaming industry. Let's talk about it. So the industry layoffs, almost 15,000 jobs lost this year alone. That doesn't include the 10,000 jobs lost in 2023.
That's
So
insane.
that's and it's not the gaming industry isn't the only industry to suffer losses because of the
Hmm.
COVID inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say inflation, I mean like certain businesses saw a surge of business during 2020 and 2022, and so companies restructured to around these this increased business, and they saw business fall off once the world kind of went back to normal, and the gaming industry wasn't immune to that. So
Yeah.
that's something to know that happened in 2024. And,
True.
there's a lot of people that lost their jobs, really, good artists and good animators and good modelers and good game designers. And, I feel sorry for those people. But on the flip side of the same coin, we had a lot of shitty developers and artists and people who had what I feel were maybe different perspectives on what made games great, and so they inserted personal stuff into the projects that they worked on, and so they lost their
Hmm.
jobs because they produced a product that the market didn't want. And on that point, let's talk about Ubisoft. I just titled this the Ubisoft deathbed. So in January, Ubisoft executive says gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games. That was in January. Well, this is all in 1 year. Skull and Bones reported loss 650 to 850 million dollar in losses because it was a game that was in development for 10 years. Star Wars Outlaws performed very poorly. That was these are our quadruple A games. That was another quote from another Ubisoft executive. uh X Defiant, which is their Call of Duty like game, is going to be shutting down summer of next year. So that game did terribly, and Ubisoft stock price went from a $23 high in 2020 to a $2.21 low in October of
Wow.
2024. So
What
Damn.
the heck?
Ubisoft also pulled back Assassin's Creed Shadows. That was supposed to come out this past November. They pushed it to come out in February of
Yeah.
next year,
Very poor choice of
which
month.
it's a week after or before Monster Hunter
I think it's
Wild.
before. Yeah, it's Valentine's Day. I think it comes out.
It's
Yeah,
on Valentine's Day, the
yeah.
14th. So, and there's talks of them selling the company. So they're hedging their bets on the Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is receiving a lot of controversy around it, with creative decisions that they've made around that game. So good luck to them. I won't be buying it. No thanks. Haven't bought an Assassin's Creed game since the first one. So I'm not interested, and I'll be playing Monster Hunter. Concord died in 2 weeks, costing Sony $400 million in losses. That was a game that was developed. I think it was in development for like
10
7 or
years.
8 years, or
Yeah.
a long time,
Another
way too
decade
long.
game. All these games take decades to
I
fucking
think
make.
I think it was its development started. I think shortly after Overwatch came out, which is in 2016. So 10 years, just about 10 years. It makes sense.
Okay.
Uh, Nintendo is suing Power World development team Pocket Pair for patent infringement. It's a load of shit. It's one of the patents is using spheres or ball-like uh, mechanics to capture. One is like riding creatures as transport. Like it's a bunch of like nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense, but it's like there are so many other games that do these things, but they're targeting Power World because Power World saw a lot of success. That's another game I played earlier this year and I liked a lot. But it is early access, so it's not like a full game. But it's a fuller game than most games. So take that for what you will. Stellar Blade controversy, yet it sold 1 million copies. There was like a bunch of talk about how uh, they're nerfing the sex appeal of the main character and they're nerfing costumes and the such. And all of the loud noise around that game, yet the game sold well, and then once the game was out and in people's hands, nobody talked about it again. Stellar Blade is old news. So it goes to show you how fickle the gaming industry is and fickle our community is.
True.
What else?
True.
Astrobot won Game of the Year. You mentioned that earlier. That's one of the good things that came out of this year.
Hmm.
Sony invests. This is as of mid-December. Sony invests an additional $318 million in Katakawa, which is the parent company of FromSoft. So we could see a merger happening in 2025. We could see FromSoft producing games exclusively for the Sony PlayStation. That could happen. That's something that's very feasible. Game Informer was shut down this year after
Oof.
33 years of
Wow.
existence. It was the last major
Damn.
gaming magazine to do physical print. That is gone. Um, Earlier in the year, I think around March or so, there was a PlayStation 5 bug that deleted the games off your PSN account. We did a
I
Oh,
podcast
remember
about
that's
that.
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
That
we
was
did.
this
We did
year,
discuss that.
last
That's
year.
crazy.
Uh,
I thought it was
Sweet
last year.
Baby,
Felt like it merged together. Like I thought it was
it
2023.
was it was earlier in 2024. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sweet Baby Inc. infecting modern games. They had a hand in, and there's other companies like them, the consulting companies, where they had their hands in Suicide Squad, which performed poorly. They had their hands in uh, what's another? They tried to get their
They
hands
tried
in.
Wukong,
They tried
right?
Wukong,
Did they
Yeah.
do
and
Spider
they
Man
were
2?
shut down. They had their
Spider-Man
hands in
2,
Spider-Man 2, I
Alan
think
Wake
God of
2,
War, and Alan Wake, a bunch of games,
and
right?
unfortunately a game you played on stream, Zal. They also
They
consulted for
had a hand
Zal
in that, and that game did not sell well. And the company, the publishing or the studio behind it,
Studios
they did shut
dissolved.
down.
Yeah.
They're gone.
That kind of sucks because I
So
think Zal was a pretty good
we
game.
won't be seeing Zao 2 probably. And then the last thing that I have down for 2024 is the PS5 Pro launching at $750. I felt like that was a notable thing because that sets a precedent for where console gaming probably will go for the rest of the time that it exists. So those are some of the
But
things I wanted to kind of put a spotlight on major events for 2024. So you guys can discuss.
I mean, it's a lot that you just
that is a lot.
unloaded on us.
Uh,
Pick your
Uh,
poison.
I am. I'm gonna start with the top of the list. No, because I don't even remember what you said on top of the list. Uh,
The $15,000 jobs lost in the gaming industry, and then
uh,
there was the Ubisoft stuff.
I do feel really bad for those workers who put in all the effort for to bring us, their own sense of art or creativity to the table, but due to um, the influence of the economy and then the influence of what people think video games should be nowadays, it it's backfiring and it's costing people their income. And when someone loses their income and they have no real control over it, it really can change their psyche. it can really change their mentality. Um, and I'm just hoping that anyone who have been heavily affected by it is able to make a recovery soon, or have already made a recovery.
Yeah,
That's the most I can say on that. It's insane. I know what it's like to not have income, or I
yeah.
know what it's like to struggle with income, even though you have income, and uh, that's just insane.
No, I definitely hear you, Wolf. I'm pretty sure we've all experienced a situation where we've worked and we've lost our income, and also with
Hmm.
all the you know developers and whatnot, all the people that lost that's lost their job in the gaming industry. To compound that with the pandemic as well, because that's still giving some like residuals pertaining to how we conduct our livelihood now. That kind of adds on, and it really sucks for that. Hopefully the game industry can kind of bounce back. Hopefully they can bounce back in a sense of being able to do what they love, because let's be honest, just being in that type of industry, you have to pretty much love what you do for the most part.
I
I,
agree.
I don't I don't
Anything that's creative,
mm-hmm.
anything that's creative or takes some sort of imagination, I feel like you have to have a passion for it. You can't go into it just because you want to check.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone going in there and saying I want to create video games or be a part of the creation of video games just because, right?
Mm,
It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. As you guys have heard us allude to, we have went to school for part of those reasons and whatnot. Um, didn't make it, as you guys can see, but I would say that's a blessing in disguise, because the gaming industry wasn't what I initially thought going into college. I thought I'd be able to create what I want, but I would just be more like a small piece in a big machine type of deal. Um, and that's what a lot of people that were let go were in. They were small pieces pretty much. I'm pretty sure they didn't have as much influence in the creation of the game, the aesthetics, the mechanics, things of that nature, than they would have liked. And to let go and have your dreams be tied to your income, that's a you know that's a double whammy of grief, in my opinion. Um, but I just want to move on a little bit to like Ubisoft shooting themselves in the foot. Um, Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different
expect a
result.
different result. Mm.
Like, that's pretty much the definition. Like, we've learned from Xbox way back in the days, although what their idea was is kind of going into fruition now. Back in the days when they were trying to stop us from owning our games, and I forgot who it was that blatantly said it, where just have a there's an Xbox 360 for those of you who want to own games. I know I didn't say it
Don
verbatim.
Matrick.
John Matrick.
Don
Okay,
Matrick.
okay, gotcha. With him saying that, like, look at how much flack that Microsoft has taken, that the Xbox have taken, and it's still going on till this day. I think he kind of spearheaded the decline of Xbox when he said that comment, and so for Ubisoft to kind of pretty much emulate what he said, I think that's also spearheading their downfall as well. Also, to compound that with like the shitty games they've been making as of late, as well. Um, I heard Skull and Bones was terrible. Like, it was a really, really bad game. I plan on getting Assassin's Creed Shadows because, as the panelist here knows, I'm a sucker when it comes to like samurai and ninja type of deals. I'm hoping the gameplay will be good. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since 2, and I heard they had a couple of them that were still available, that were pretty decent titles. Afterwards, like, I heard Black Flag was probably their greatest title, but I have yet to play that. So I'm gonna give Shadows a try or whatever, see where it takes me or whatnot, despite the controversy.
So I got 2 points for you, and I'll let you continue.
Sure, go ahead.
So point number one, Black Flag came out 10 years ago now. More than 10 years ago. It came out in 2013. So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
2, this might influence your decision or not, but I like to listen to the people that are selling me a product, and I will make a determination on whether or not I want to invest in their product based on how they view their customer base and based on how they treat their product. So I think the people behind Ubisoft and the people behind Assassin's Creed, not all of them, but many of them, at least the ones that have a public voice, those guys can rot in the fucking pit for all I care. There's a quote specifically, and I have to find it to show you, but I think there was like a leak, like an employee, he like anonymously had an interviewer, and he had mentioned that despite all of the controversy surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows, that the leadership was like, well, there's enough low IQ customers. Basically, he was what he was getting at. He didn't say low IQ, but there's enough like low IQ customers that will just buy the product simply because of the branding, because it's Assassin's Creed. So these are the kinds of people that I do not want to help prop up and invest into their product. And I recommend that you do the same, because they, like high level executives and out of touch developers, really look down on the consumer base. And the moment I get wind of that, it totally, even if the product is good, I will go out of my way to not invest or to find other ways to make sure that my money isn't directly contributing to their pockets. Even if I have to buy the game secondhand market, even if I have to wait for it to go on like super sale or something like that, even if I have to wait 2 years, my dignity and my pride is worth more than, a modern gaming experience. Because let's be real, the modern gaming experience is very subpar. So I think I'm good. So I think that's something you should know. And if I find the article, I'll send it to you. But yeah, fuck those guys. They don't deserve your money. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I did not know that perspective. Me as a gamer, I take pride. Me as a person, I take pride in my integrity. And if a company is trying to insult my intelligence, then yeah, like the only way to fight them is with your wallet, because that's what companies understand. That's the only way that they'll sway their decisions and what they do within their environment. So that's really interesting to hear. I would love to see that article. Definitely some consideration, especially with Ubisoft being, you know, a contributing factor to my gaming childhood, right? Because you had games like the Rayman series, which were phenomenal. Like the very first Rayman, in my opinion, still holds well aesthetically and gameplay wise to this day. So for them to like kind of deviate towards that and give us the shit sandwich that they're giving us now is kind of a slap in the face. And also us being people who like to own our media as well. No disrespect to those who want digital media, but I prefer physical. It has way too much benefits as opposed to negatives than digital. So, but it is what it is. I've already beat that topic with a dead horse or whatnot. So yeah, that's messed up. Fuck Ubisoft for saying that, or whoever at Ubisoft that did say that. Yeah, wow.
So yeah, I'll give my thoughts on kind of that stuff. Quickly, as far as the industry layoffs go, sure, I can sympathize with legitimate people who have lost their jobs and how that affects them and any potential families. I'm not heartless in that regard, but also it is a lot of bloat due to the pandemic, like was stated. A lot of people were hired that, and you got to trim the fat. Also, a lot of these people, I don't want to get too political, but gaming has kind of, like a lot of things in our society, which is not the greatest thing. Sides have been taken. And if you look at the gaming industry, not the games, but the gaming industry, a lot of people have certain beliefs on one side as opposed to the other. Like balance has been lost, and it is now more about a message than about a game. And a lot of companies like Ubisoft and Square Enix and Capcom to a certain extent have kind of gone to these people with certain ideologies, and their games have suffered as a result. And I think 2024 will go down as the year of people, as the year people just said, you know what? I don't have to buy your product. Because that's what's happening. Like a lot of these games like Concord and Star Wars and Suicide Squad, they all failed because no one bought them. And at the end of the day, as a customer, consumer, whatever terminology you want to use, your power is in the fact that you do not have to give these people your money. You do not have to buy their games. You do not have to sign up to their subscription services. You do not have to pay them. They 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 they
Mhm.
they have to come to you and deliver a product that in your opinion is worth the asking price. And with games like Star Wars and Zal and those games, the vast majority of people says they have said that what you are demanding of me in terms of price is not worth the product you are presenting me. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Like you could get on Twitter and rant and rave and say I like my tits or why are they making women ugly? If that is a game breaker for you, do not buy the game. And if enough of these games fail, either something will change, which is kind of what we hope for, or things will die and have a backup hobby. That's currently where I'm at. I'm super apathetic to this whole thing because I don't have to give you my money. I don't have to buy Star Wars. I didn't buy it. I don't have to buy The Witcher 3 if that turns out to be a flop. I don't have to play Interstellar if that turns out to be a flop. I don't have to buy these games. So whether they succeed or fail is based on what they're providing. And if you have people going on social media and running their mouths, it's only going to hurt your game. And for your sake, your game better deliver. Like Silent Hill 2, for example. There is quote unquote controversy with that game, but the game itself is enjoyable. So I don't care about that. Like if you want to change certain aesthetics on a character and you're on PC, have at it, go for it. I don't care, it's your game. But the reason why I'm enjoying Silent Hill 2 is it's an actual good game. A lot of these other games, they're not like that. They're bad. They look aesthetically displeasing, and they are bad video games. That's a 1-2 combo that means failure. Okay, you can have quote unquote woke games that succeed. Baldur's Gate is a prime example of that. Baldur's Gate has been labeled by certain people quote unquote woke for its character creator, but at its core, it is a good Dungeons and Dragons based uh, top-down RPG. Then you take Dragon Age Veilguard, which has a lot of the same messaging as Baldur's Gate 3, but the gameplay is mediocre if I'm being generous to very bad. So again, the 1-2 punch that results in Dragon Age failing. So you can have these things. Two things can be true at the same time. But anyway, to circle back to my main point, 2024 is the year when people said I do not have to support you. I and loyalties to brands and franchises no longer matter. Assassin's Creed does not pull the same weight it used to because people go, "Wait, I don't have to buy this game. Why am I buying this game?" So they don't buy it. So, and I'm glad. I'm glad because that's our only power as customers to these monolith corporations. Do not buy their product. And if unfortunately a franchise you love has to die, all good things must come to an end. But it's the only way they'll realize we don't like this shit. So that's my thank you for coming to my TED talk. Um,
Well, you definitely raised a lot of points, Gunner, and to add to that, I would also say that people need to also think a little more objectively. You know, there are some people that just fall under what everyone is saying about a game and just, follow that bandwagon, so to speak. And then they proceed to make a decision off of that. And you know, that's perfectly fine if you do your own research, if you look into the game yourself and make that same judgment, or if those are the components that you're looking for in a game, then absolutely. But there are some people that'll be like, oh my god, Stellar Blade, oh, she's covered up now, holy shit, it's going to be a terrible game. And there are people that will just follow suit, you know. Stellar Blade wasn't a bad game. It wasn't the, oh my god, the best game out there, but it was a good game, you know. And all I'm saying is that I would like for people to be a little more objective, you know, look into the game yourself. You know, do your research. Don't follow what everybody else is saying. And if it's a game that's for you, great. If not, then definitely speak with your money and keep it in your wallet, you know.
And that philosophy isn't just tied to just your consumer habits when it comes to games.
Oh, yeah, it's life.
It's life in general,
Yeah.
right? Be careful as to what you're eating, what you're drinking, where you invest your money in, who you spend your time with, like all these things. That's important. You really sit down and think and really analyze and deconstruct why it is you do certain things and come to your own conclusion of whether or not this is something you want to continue to do or something you should continue to invest into. That's anything, not just video games. So
Yeah, because a part of those social media platforms is a lot of regurgitation. You know, there's a lot of people that did not even look at said game, don't even know what said game is, but they are regurgitating what everyone else is saying and not doing their adequate research to determine whether or not maybe these people are misinformed or they're just, you know, spreading this verbal virus, so to speak, to cause people to not buy said game or whatnot. So, you know, just be cognizant about that. Not in, as Kong said, not just in the gaming field, but in life as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I agree. That's all I have to say.
so
There's nothing else to say. It's absolutely true. If you don't,
let's
if you
okay.
just if you just follow in line like sheep, you're gonna get treated like sheep,
Mm.
right? So that's exactly what happens. So I have nothing to say. I don't disagree with anything that anybody said just in these last few minutes.
All right.
All right, so let's get into what we're looking forward to in 2025. You can kick it off, esoteric.
Okay, what I'm looking forward to in 2025. So there were a couple of games that were announced during the Video Game Awards. I'm just gonna name a few, so I don't take over all the titles. I'm pretty sure some of you guys may speak on them. Uh, Ninja Gaiden going back to its roots. They made an announcement about a new Ninja Gaiden title being released, and it's not in the three-dimensional format that it was on the Xbox and the the two previous gen consoles like the PS3, Xbox 360, but it's more going back to when it was released on the NES, where it's like a 2D style type of game, platformer. It seems like it has some Metroidvania elements as well. Not really certain, but it looks really good, and I'm looking forward to that. Um, Another couple of games was Onimusha, you know, a game that has that I thought was dead. I thought it was in a dumpster fire somewhere, and they just completely forgot about it. Um, Absolutely looking forward to one of those games. I mean, looking forward to that game. The Onimusha series was pretty much pivotal to my gaming career. Like I played one and two, did not play three, but they were great games. And also Okami, another game that I thought they left to die somewhere in a ditch or whatever. I never thought that they would ever have had a sequel of Okami. Um, there's also Kong mentioned this earlier, the Nintendo Switch. Um, Now with the Nintendo Switch, I'm curious to see what enhancements they're going to do with the Switch 2 or Switch Pro, whatever the hell they're gonna call it. Um, if it's just an upgrade like the PS5 Pro, which I don't think is going to be after all this time, then I'm just going to leave it alone. My current Switch is adequate enough to play the games that I enjoy. But if it is definitely an upgrade to the Switch where they're going to create new cartridges, they're going to create new games catered to that system, then I would definitely look forward to acquiring one. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna cover the other games. Oh, uh, the Elden Ring expansion too. I'm kind of intrigued by it. And I'm sure there's more. I know you guys are gonna probably touch on them too. But yeah, those were the main ones for me.
Yeah, as far as upcoming games, I mean, um, as far as everything that was showed off in the Game Awards,
It could be products too, like just nerd culture products.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as far as games in that realm, there's really nothing I'm too excited for. There's a couple of, funny enough, not brand new titles. There are two remakes that I'm looking forward to in January, and that's Wise Memories of Celestia. That's a Wise game where we never got in the U.S. and Tales of Grace's F, two remakes or remasters of older games. So,
What the hell is Wise?
oh, Yeez,
Oh, Yeet. Oh,
Yeez,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, what the hell is Wise? I've never heard of this game before.
It's the potato chips, man.
Good
As far
brand.
as
Good brand.
As far as other nerd culture, there's a couple of Warhammer books, Warhammer 40K specifically, that are coming out that I have pre-ordered. Some different stories from different factions. I could get into it, but then we'd be here for 3 hours, so I'm not
Days.
going to. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to reading those.
Okay.
Um, might get into miniatures. We don't know. We'll see how my wallet feels about that. Um, yeah, so it's nothing like major on the horizon. Monster Hunter will probably be the dominating game, me personally, for this year, unless either Wild disappoints heavily, which
I
is
doubt
always a
that.
possibility. I'm just being realistic, or some other game comes out that blows me away. But there's some stuff coming out, but nothing is just like, oh, I can't wait until this. Minus Monster Hunter to a certain extent, but I'm a big boy. I can wait till February.
All right. What about you, Wolf?
Um, Monster Hunter, Tales of Graces, and there was one other RPG that um there was one other one. It's a remake, I believe. Let me see if I can go back to that list. Give me 1 second here. I should have wrote it down. Oh no, I think that was it. Oh, um, Xenoblade.
Oh
Oh shit!
yes,
Right,
yes.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Yes,
That's
Right,
getting a remake. Yeah.
right.
Um.
yes. Finally off the
So
Wii U. Thank goodness.
yes, so I can officially have all the Xenoblade games,
Ooh,
physical copies. Finally.
yes, yes.
Um, Other ones maybe. I know Lunar Remastered, but
Oh,
I
that's
haven't.
another one.
That's true. Yeah.
Um, and isn't it Metroid 4 supposed to come out next year?
I don't know.
Allegedly, but I didn't want to speak on that because like it's been coming out, you know. So
Forever.
I don't want to jinx it, pretty much. But I'm
I
hoping
hear
that it
you.
does. I don't want to jinx it though.
But you know what? I will admit that whenever Nintendo pushes back a game, it's for the better. And it always ends up being better. So if they do push it back, that it'll be more comforting to know
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean,
that
as long
they're
as it's
willing
in
to
my
push it back.
lifetime, you know what I'm saying?
I might I might be in a nursing home by the time.
Hey, the Switch 3 will be portable,
Hmm.
maybe, so you can
Oh
still
Yeah.
play.
shit.
But other than that, for me, it's yet again another dry year. And as I get older, it's going to be. I think it's going to continue down this way because I don't think I think our style and era of video games is over, and that's just a part of it. We just got to get used to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Big true, as they say.
I I would say so when it comes to AAA titles. However, with like uh, the independent companies or whatnot, they kind of cater to like what we enjoy. Even though I say for the most part they play it safe with the Metroidvania games, like they Metroidvania us to death. But I will
Mm,
say that those games are like super enjoyable and they kind of cater to the play style that we grew up on. So
mm,
we have that to we have the indie pl- uh, people them to you know
to fall back on.
yeah, yeah.
Mm, that's fair.
So for me, it's obviously Milestone or Wilds. That's number one. There's a lot of remasters and remakes that are coming out next year that I have an eye on, or that I'm hoping to get a physical release, like The Thing remastered. That came out, but there's no hard release yet, so I'm waiting for a hard release on that. Notable titles that I'm personally not like over the moon over, but I'm looking at and watching. Grand Theft Auto 6. I would be remiss not to mention that. That's going to be the biggest game of the
That's
year.
that's true.
I don't care personally. I haven't cared about Grand Theft Auto since San Andreas. But again, like Wolf said, our era is kind of behind us, and you know, excuse me, the new gamers are going to kind of take over the mantle, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm interested to see how poorly the game will sell and what Ubisoft is going to do about it. I'm more interested about that aspect around that game. Borderlands 4. I have no hopes for that game, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because I might be surprised. Ghost of Yotai, another one. We'll see. It could be really good or it could be really mediocre. We'll see.
I mean,
Keeping my eyes on that one. Pokemon Legends Z to A. This is one of the first Pokemon games that we're getting that has had a bigger development time of a year. So it could be really good, or it could be really
The
Scarlet and
same.
Violet. So we'll see. I'm gonna let it whenever it comes out, which is probably gonna be late 2025. I'm gonna let it sit there for a few months and see what people say, and then I'll dive in if it's worth it. If not, then I'll continue to play other things. Switch 2, I'm interested. Whatever they decide to call it, I don't think it's gonna be called Switch 2. It'll be called something else. I'm interested to see what that's going to be like. I don't know if I'm going to be an early adopter for it because I'm pretty sure they're going to overlap title releases between Switch and whatever the Switch 2 is going to be. So like if Metroid 4 ends up being a launch title for Switch 2, it's also going to be on the Switch as well
Yeah,
for those who don't make the jump.
yeah.
So
No,
for me it's
especially
like
since
I could wait.
it's backwards compatible with the Switch library, so
Yes.
it definitely will.
So I will definitely buy a Switch successor at some point because it only makes sense to at some point to do that, considering it's fully backwards compatible. But I don't know if I need to go get it day one or even year one. So
True, true.
yeah, and then as far as like other things are concerned, so there's Armor Core model kits coming out early next year that I'm
oh shit! I thought you
thinking
were gonna
about
say
and
a new
looking
game.
at.
I was gonna say what? I
There
didn't
might
hear about
there
this.
might there might be a game in the works. I don't put it past them.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. And then there's some Monster Hunter statues coming out next year. There's a statue that looks really nice. That's coming out next summer. So I definitely want to get that. And then the last point that I have in my notes, there's a lot of brick and mortar stores going the way of the dinosaur next year. So
Oh yeah,
GameStop
yeah.
is set to close 500 stores nationwide in 2025. That's huge. That's about
That
20% of their store population.
that company needs to go out of business.
They're
Just get rid of it.
They're getting there. Macy's, Walmart, Walgreens, Starbucks, Dollar Tree, Office Depot, Party City is done next
Yeah.
Bro, they
year.
killed Party City, man.
Yep.
Foot Locker is going to be closing a bunch of stores, CVS, Sears, and Advanced Auto Parts. So that has nothing to do with a lot of those stores are just retail clothing stores, but the brick and mortar store model is a big part of our upbringing, and so I think it's worth noting that it is going to be like a major change and shift in the year 2025. We're going to see a lot of stores, a lot of empty lots, and a lot of empty storefronts next year, and moving forward. So I'm I don't want to see it, but it's going to happen, and I'm curious to see what 2035 looks like. What does 10 years from now? How bad is it going to be? I don't know, but I know it's not going to be good. But it's
Yeah,
just I'm my curiosity is you know is
I
there, so I can't help it. But yeah,
yeah, I think it's just gonna be a bunch of like structures that holds server racks and things like that, just so people can optimize their digital searching and purchasing and whatnot,
Well,
or housing.
it's it's also the internet age too. Like nobody wants like if if a person can get what they want without leaving their house or on their cell phone while at work or um hell, it's Siri. You pull up this app and order this, or hey Google, or whatever Google uses. Like the way that the age of technology is going, retail stores is going to struggle because you don't really have to go into the building, especially if people are just going to order things and then send it back, and then if it doesn't fit or it doesn't work the way they want it to work, like nobody's going to go into the store and try clothes on. I do that. I hate ordering clothes online.
Same
So I
thing.
Same.
like going into I like going into the store to um to try on the clothes and make sure it works. But you know what? My son's older brother, who is working, he doesn't do that. He doesn't go into stores at all. Everything he orders online, and if it doesn't fit, he'll just send it right back. But he's 19 years old. So it's very different. And like even I'm at work, and the females I work with, they're ordering shoes off Shein, they're ordering things off Amazon, and they're in the middle of work. No one is rushing to leave work to get to the soup to get to the mall before it closes. Like here in the state that I live in, the malls are closing earlier and earlier by the year. When I first moved to this state, malls would close around 9. Now malls are closing at 6, 7. Major malls in the state are closing at like 6 or 7. So it's like these people are paying rent for buildings for consumers who aren't really going to come in. And I'm not saying that retail stores are empty. They're not. There's too many people in America for them to be empty on a day-to-day basis. But when you look at like Amazon's success or Shein for female clothing, which is diverse amount of female clothing for an exceptionally cheap price.
never heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
it
pretty strong
yeah,
store for
it,
ladies.
for ladies, right? And then you have like even like say Express for Men is gone out of business or is going out of business, and that's
Oh, don't say
because
that. That's where I shop, man. That's like,
yeah, they're either out of business or they're going out of business.
I hope not.
Which
Um,
which store?
Express for
Express.
Men.
Oh, never heard of it.
I hope
So
not.
right, um, in the state that I lived in, they closed on all of them, except there's only one, which is like a 50-minute drive from where I live. And that's one of the few clothing stores I can shop at because of my small stature. But it's like everybody's just ordering things online. You know, um, you can do your Christmas shopping in one day now, like, because you get everything off Amazon or, Best Buy's websites or Target websites, Walmart websites. Like, why even go into it? Just order it.
So funny enough, real quick, because I know time is of the essence. Um, recently saw a video talking about how, well, I guess in your personal life, Wolf, you're Gen Z, not much,
Hmm.
but other Gen Zs actually want to bring back malls
I do.
because it's like because of everything you just said, they dislike how everything
I
is
do.
shopping online and it's very impersonal, and we're already suffering with a loneliness epidemic because everything is online. And you know, me growing up in the Bronx, we didn't really have, or me growing up in the Bronx, didn't really have malls. There wasn't really a mall, but I know of the mall experience. Like that's where friends used to meet up back before cell phones. It's like, all right, meet me at the mall at 1 p.m. in the food court near Pizza Hut. And the mall
Mm-hmm.
would be a thing that you can spend all your time doing. It had movie theaters, places to eat, places to shop, places to just chill, and probably do what we were doing back in McDonald's. If we weren't doing it, if we weren't playing Monster Hunter in McDonald's, we'd probably be doing it at a mall, or the
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's in the mall. So maybe some of Gen Z can kind of bring that back. And my old ass is going to be coming in with a cane, trying on my corduroy pants at the new Gen Z mall because I don't like buying clothes online because shit is
Yeah,
stupid.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't think any of us do. But I just want to make one more
Mm-hmm.
point before we wrap this up. Like, I feel as though with this new business model, it's absolutely dismantling our social skills. It definitely will. Like,
You know why? Because your social skills is now Instagram, TikTok, was Facebook. That's your social skills now. That's what society is now. Literally, that is what your social aspect is. This is the day and age of internet.
Just the brief
Strictly.
brief snapshot of everything. It's super perfect, and she looks gorgeous or he looks gorgeous, or oh, this guy's life is so perfect. It's because all you're seeing is a 5 minute video, or a 5 minutes is probably too much for them, a 2 minute video and a snapshot. And it's. So hey,
Mm-hmm.
look, any Gen Zs that want to bring malls back, I support that. Like,
yeah, I'm all for it. Like, you need to. We are social creatures. Like, we are naturally social creatures. I don't know how effective it is going to be solely behind a screen. Yes, you can communicate with people much easily that way, based on convenience. Because especially with texting, right? Because when you're talking to someone verbally, you have to respond right away. But with texting, you can reach back at your leisure and whatnot. Same with being online. Same with social media.
Which I hate.
So, it's going to be a socially awkward world if based upon the progression of like everything becoming digital and i.e. games, stores, etc., etc., is going to be really, really awkward. And I'm not looking forward to it because these future kids are not going to be able to hold a conversation. They probably won't even know how to write anymore because everything is going to be typing. But yeah, I digress. Whew. Well, we kind of went over there, but for anybody who stuck around this long, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in, listening to our first ever podcast for 2025. For those of you who were with us in 2024, thank you, and continue to support us. Thank you, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more. We do a podcast every Wednesday at 12 p.m. EST. So feel free to subscribe and be notified. Hit that bell button for when we're on. Also, let us know what you're looking forward to in 2025, whether it's games, whatever type of interest you may partake in. Probably mostly games because you're listening to us. So let us know. And also, check out our streams. I stream on Logical Gamers TV every Monday and Friday from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. EST. And we also have socials as well. If you look right below us, our socials are all there. Just search for those things. There's going to be... Well, no, I don't even need to mention that now because it's going to be already done. So never mind. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Do you gentlemen have anything else to say before we go?
Yeah, so this marks our first episode in 2025 on the new podcast focused channel. This is episode 174.
Damn.
All the other episodes, 173, 1 through 173, are going to be on the old channel, or I say old channel, the main channel, Logical Gamers and YouTube. That channel is going to be primarily having the 2 minute reviews, The unboxing videos, any gameplay videos are going to be on that channel. The podcast episodes will be on this channel moving forward. So that'll be every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. With that being said, folks, thanks again to the wonderful panelists here. Thanks again to all our supporters. And once again, guys, remember, if it ain't gaming, it ain't logical, folks. Peace.